I am having fun with this episode. I am recording from my deck. So if you hear any background noises, that could be birds chirping, it could be golfers screaming because they hit the ball in our yard. It could be cars in the background. There are some cars that go on the other side of the fairway. It could be my dog. He's on the deck with me. It could be my husband who comes in out onto the deck and interrupts me, forgetting that I'm actually recording a podcast. But I am here and I have a topic for you to talk about this week. So, this week, what came to mind for me that I wanted to share in terms of abundance, because I'm feeling really good and I haven't felt this good for a while. And one of the reasons is that I've had an injured arm. And so I wanted to talk about the mind and body and how we kind of take those for granted. And we should always be so thankful and so cognizant of how we treat them and how important they are to a vibrant life. So I split it into two sections really to talk about. I wanted to talk about the mind first, and then I want to talk about the body. And what got me thinking about this is because, well, not only my arm, and I just graduated from physical therapy after being in physical therapy for a couple months, but also because I talked in a recent episode about getting an electric car and how that made me every time I get in my car, and how we resisted these things because we're always looking at the cost, yet we're not looking at the investment. Like, what does it bring us? What more does something we desire bring us than just like the money it costs us? And so it was about that, and then what it's brought me in terms of how I feel when I sit in my car, how it's challenged my brain, and how I've learned so many new things, and how whole driving is a whole new experience now. And so I thought about the mind and body in terms of challenges and how we need to always continue to challenge those parts of ourself. And my body, I haven't been challenging very much because I've been injured. And it's very hard when you're injured. And how, when you challenge your body, how it really does affect your mind is so true. So I just thought I'd share, other than my electric car, what things I've done to challenge my mind and kind of in the last month, and how that makes me feel, so abundant and grateful and happy. And sometimes we take these things for granted. We take for granted the fact that we're applying ourselves, that we're learning these new things. I think as we age, we tend to slack. So I guess one of my questions would be, are you coasting? Are you just thinking, oh, I don't really need to learn new things. I don't really need to challenge my brain anymore. I've learned enough. Sometimes we're just tired, right? So I would thought that was a good question to ask. How are you challenging yourself? And if you're not really challenging yourself, think about how you would like to challenge yourself. And it's not necessarily just like learning a new skill. It could be just applying yourself to a new hobby. And in a way, that's like a new skill. Like if you want to learn master gardening, or you want to learn how to play an instrument, or those are really learning new skills. But it's just learning something new, testing these brain cells. They kind of need to constantly, just like your muscles need the exercise, your brain cells need the exercise. So what I've done, first of all, my car, and it's still a learning experience. I still haven't gotten through the entire operator's manual. It's kind of like you check it when you need it, but it's so much fun. And I will say, we have a golf cart, and it was funny because I haven't driven my golf cart for a while. And when I went to test drive my car, she asked me, do you have any experience test driving or driving an electric car? And I said, well, I have a golf cart. So I kind of like know when you take your foot off, kind of slows down automatically. And so the car, when you take your foot off the accelerator in my electric car, the brakes go on, lights go on. It's as if you're braking, even though you don't actually apply your foot on the brake. And so I got in the golf cart today, which I haven't done for a while. And I went zipping down my road, and I took my foot off the gas pedal, or the, whatever you call it, the electric pedal. And the car, it didn't slow down like my car does, because like ready to like blast through the stop sign. And I'm like, whoa, so I'm so now the driving of the electric car and the way the pedals work is kind of second nature to me now. And it wasn't like that when I started. It was really kind of a learning experience. So that has been super fun and really applying my brain or testing my brain or challenging my brain. I also got 2 new books this month, and I've already almost finished one. And I just got it like 4 days ago. So I love, and all my books, for the most part, are nonfiction. They're personal development, growth kind of books. But I love learning, and I love trying to make myself better as a human. And so these books are just, and they're also, as a coach, they give me new knowledge that I can share and help my students with, and anybody like you who's a listener. I can help you with new things that I learn. So talked about the books. I also signed up for a new certification today, and I'm super excited about it. It was actually an application process. So I'm very excited about that. That's going to be something that I'm going to do in early December. And again, just a deeper level of learning that I can then give back. Then I also am doing a 16-week course, and it's really incredible. I'm learning so many new things. It's a manifestation course, but learning so many things about science-based stuff, because a lot of people think manifestation sometimes is woo-woo, but there's really a lot of science-backed proof about manifestation and really how you can successfully do it. So I'm really excited about that as well. So those are kind of the mind things. I was thinking about, what can I share that I've done in the last month as an example? So what have you done to challenge your mind in the last month? Have you ordered new books? Have you, and it doesn't have to always be nonfiction. I mean, you can learn from fiction books. Escaping in fiction books. One of my favorite books is Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. And it was Oprah favorite, book club recommendation. And it's an 1,000-page book, but it's like one of my favorite books. And even though it's a fiction book, it's a historical fiction book. So it's based on truth, right? It's based, you read it and it's set in the 1100s. And the main character is a cathedral builder. And I learned so much about life back in the 1100s. It was really interesting. Did you know that they ate onions? Like they would eat an onion like an apple. So I was like, I love onions, but I would never eat an onion like an apple. So anyways, yeah, just read and learn something new, take a course, challenge your brain. That is all positive stuff. And there's so many webinars, free webinars. I also actually watched a documentary. I just thought about that. Val Kilmer, remember he was in Top Gun? He was kind of the nemesis of Tom Cruise. When I was getting my nails done at my toenails, it's the only time I ever walk, like if I see a People magazine, I'm like, ooh. And so I saw the People magazine, and what caught my eye is Val Kilmer has suffered from throat cancer, and he's been very sick, and he did a documentary. He did it himself. And the only thing that I would say about his documentary is that he should have hired somebody to do it, because it could have been better if he hired somebody else to do it. He's a little weird. And so I learned a lot about him. And one of the key things about him, which is so sad, is he lost his brother. His younger brother died suddenly. He had an epileptic attack in a jacuzzi in the hot tub. And it was sudden, and it was, he loved his brother. His brother was very influential in his life. And I think he had just gone away to Juilliard. I think he was the youngest person accepted at Juilliard at his age. And so it may be about 18 years old. But anyways, it was interesting. I don't know that I recommend it because it's kind of weird just to read Wikipedia about him, but he's clearly a very, very smart person. And he's very philosophical, and he's like kind of an artist as well. And what he's gone through with his health, like coming back, he can't really talk. He has a hole in his throat. So, I mean, there's a little side additive here, but I did see that documentary and learned something from it. And he didn't get into his cancer journey at all, really, but you could definitely, he was talking or trying to talk and like speaking through the hole in his throat. Very, very difficult in his documentary. So I learned that. And so kind of skipping into the body aspect, I'll talk about that. But this one is kind of in between. This is in between mind and body. And the reason why I put it in between mind and body, because I was like, well, it's kind of a physical thing, but it made me feel so amazing. And that is, I got my hair cut. And I hadn't been to get my hair cut since like June. And it had grown out. I think it's the longest it's ever been since I was a teenager. And although I was having fun with it, I got to the point where it was like maintenance was just, I didn't like it as much. And it was like just more trouble than it was worth. So, and I was like putting it up most of the time. I was like, what's the hair worth if you're always putting in a ponytail? You can't even see your hair. So I got my hair cut, and it's a lot shorter, very shoulder length. If you're looking at this on my YouTube channel, you can see me. But it's more like the pictures that I have on out there, because when I had my photo shoot, my hair was about this length. But it's so fun. I'm having so much fun. I'm wearing it curly today. I blow it dry some days. And so that made me feel really good. It made me feel good physically, and it made me feel good mentally. And so that was both mind and body, fits both buckets. And then getting my arm fixed. It's been a journey. So I hurt my arm back probably, I want to say in January, because I remember my daughter was still pregnant when I hurt it. I injured it. We were swinging my grandson between us, and you know how you grab an arm and you swing, and it just, I don't know if it was, my arm was already strained, and that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. But the next morning I woke up and my arm was killing me. I mean, I could hardly straighten it. And so when these things happen, you don't really run to the doctor unless you're like in pain. So the pain subsided in like over the course of the day. And so I just kind of was like, oh, it'll get better with time. So I wasn't able to work out. I mean, I could have done certain workouts, right? I could have walked and I do walk with my dog, but that was the middle of winter, right? And so walking, I don't walk fast paced. And so I just used it as an excuse to kind of slack. So got totally out of shape, got really weak. And so then I started to like dabble in working out again because I started to feel better. And then I had a setback. So after my setback, I was like, this is ridiculous. And I have a trip planned that's a yoga retreat. And so I'm like, I need to be able, I don't want to go to my yoga retreat and not be able to do yoga. And you need your arms for yoga. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to go to the doctor and I'm going to see what's wrong. And I have a great massage therapist. In fact, I got a massage today as kind of a congratulations for my graduation from physical therapy, and because I started working out again and my body's a little sore. So I thought some massage would be good. But she's the one who first told me what the problem was. And she said, I think you have a triceps problem, triceps tendonitis, or, inflamed tendon in the back of your arm. And so I made a doctor's appointment, and of course that's what it was. And so they recommended physical therapy. And so the physical therapy was super, rewarding. I had frozen shoulder. So I really believe in physical therapy. They know their shit. They know their stuff, and they're amazing people. And so did that. And then I had a little bit of a setback when I went to visit my grandchildren in Charleston, lifting my, 2-year-old granddaughter. I don't know how much she weighs, but she probably is a good 20 pounds. So I had a little bit of a setback. So that extended my physical therapy a bit, but I figured out I was basically 7 weeks. I went about a total of 10 times, and I was so excited to graduate yesterday. And it has done so much for me because they allowed me to start doing yoga at a certain point. And they said, that'll really you'll be able to test it. You'll be able to like see if your arm can withstand some of the stuff, and I've been doing these exercises for like, 7 weeks. So just foundationally kind of building that initial strength. And so I've been able to do these yoga workouts. So I'm very excited. And in addition, I decided I wanted to start running. And it's not like I'm running like intense. I walk my dog. And so I'm just doing kind of a walk and then jog and then walk and then jog. when I get to a hill, if it's an uphill, I walk. If I get to a downhill, I jog. So it's nothing strenuous. I'm going like today, I did a 2-mile one and it was like 14-minute pace. So, and of course, my dog, he pooped twice. And we passed every dog we pass, he has to say something to and lick and sniff and all that. And then I have to make nice with people, which I like to do. So between the yoga workouts and so I've had 4 walk runs, 4 yoga workouts in the past like 5 days, because I did take 1-day break. It's been so amazing. And when you challenge your body like that, it affects the mind. It affects the mind because I have been, with the endorphins and just the feeling like I'm getting stronger. It's been such a mental lift. It's been such a mental, just makes me feel so much better, so much happier, so much grateful for the body that I have. When you get to be 62 years old, you're thinking, gonna been around the block, my parts, it's like a car that has 100,000 miles on it. It's like, these things are bound to like, need maintenance. And so that's why I feel like my physical therapy I needed to have some maintenance. And now I'm got some oil changed in me. And so it's just been a real, and I started just really appreciating the body I have. We can always complain about, oh, I wish I was, I'm more than I want to weigh. There's things about my body I wish were different. But, I just like focusing on the fact that I can do the things I can do. And I was really excited because in my physical therapy, they do like this testing at the end to make sure, well, they have all the data, right? They want to put all the data in the database. So they test your strength and you have to answer this questionnaire and you go through this process. And they had predicted, like, based on my age and my comorbidities, that I would end with 71 points. And I ended up with 88 points. And I'm like, yes, of course, the little competitor in me was like, why did I get 100? Well, I don't think I can get 100 because of my age. But anyway, so I was very excited because I beat my numbers for my age. And so that's the little wins. And it made me think that I am so appreciative. I'm so glad that I've taken care of myself for the most part. I'm so glad that I feel hopeful that, I can regain the strength that I've lost and that I'm on the right track. And so yeah, and doing these foundational exercises are so, so important. I tend to skip into like doing it hardcore, and that oftentimes is what will set me back. And so the fact that kind of the physical therapy forced me to do these, which aren't fun, these certain exercises, but they make a difference. They make a difference. And I don't know if it's with age. My chiropractor tells me, I have weak shoulders. And, when you're doing yoga and you're like in a plank, let me tell you, a plank right now is so hard for me to hold. Just like a 30-second plank. I'm like, holy crap. Like, is it time? Can I stop now? Downward dog it was hard at first. It's getting easier with each workout. But that's just how weak I am. And so I feel like these foundational exercises, if I had done this out the gate, even though it's a beginning yoga program, if I had done this out the gate without doing these foundational exercises, I probably would have hurt myself by now. So that, challenging my body, but following kind of a slow process to heal and then adding things in with, of course, guidance. So the other thing that I'd done with my body is I started taking collagen. And it's funny too, because I started taking it about a month ago. And, one of the things about collagen is collagen really can help lubricate your tendons. It can help strengthen joints. So for people who are aging, collagen is really a supplement that is important. And it also helps your nails. And I need all the help I can get with my fingernails, although I've gotten better about not biting them. So I've started doing the collagen, and my chiropractor said, you really need to do collagen. And I was like, oh, guess what? I'm doing it. So I even had like I had somebody who knows their stuff recommend it to me. So I'll keep you posted on that because, the jury's out to say, like, has it really made a difference? But what I can say is that I had knee surgery back when I was a teenager. And so I sometimes my knee will bother me. And I've been running or walk running, I've gone, in the last 5 days, I've done, probably close to 10 miles and my knee feels fine. It feels amazing. So I don't know if it's a collagen or not, because I wasn't running before. And so I have nothing to compare it against, but, there's no sign that it's not good. So I'm going to keep doing it. And the other thing is, I got a massage and I mentioned that. And I think it's really important. People don't do massages because they think it's extravagant. I think sometimes people say, oh, it costs too much money. If you have a good massage therapist, they know what they're doing. And your body sometimes has these knots in it, especially when you start a new program, like I've been doing the running and the yoga, and to go in. And I remember when I really started doing more regular massages was about a few years ago when I signed up as a Beachbody coach, and I was like doing these intense workouts, and my body was like so sore. And I was like, I need to go to get a massage. And I swear the massages would like take away the soreness, like very, very quickly after the massage, I would feel so much less soreness. So it's almost like it's like physical therapy, but in a different way. They're both massage therapists and physical therapists are so knowledgeable in the human body and the problems that happen that can happen with the human body. And my massage therapist had to diagnose what my problem was. I didn't even need to go to the orthopedic surgeon, or the orthopedic doctor. I needed to go to get a prescription to go to physical therapy. So I would highly recommend that you go to get a massage, sign up, get one. Self-care is important. That also checks the box both for body and mind, because it feels so good just to have that massage. And I have a couple times when I like to talk, when I get a massage, my husband sometimes falls asleep. And I'm like, why would you fall asleep when you're having, like, you miss out on all that amazingness that you're like getting. And so, but I do like to chit chat because like I said, my massage therapist is become my friend. And even when I don't know somebody, if she's not available and I have to go somewhere else, I'm curious about people. And so we get into these conversations. But a couple of times I've just chilled and not really spoken during them. And it's like you get into this zone, like the zone that I can get in when I do breath work is kind of that zone I get into sometimes with a massage. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like you connect to your deeper level of consciousness. And so that's a mind thing. You think your body's getting worked on, but ultimately your mind is getting worked on too, if you can keep your mouth shut. So that's what I have for you today. I just want to challenge you. Well, I want to do two things. I want you to be grateful for the mind you have and the body you have. And secondly, I want to challenge you to challenge those things, because they're going to serve you a lot longer. You're going to keep them vital. You need to not only be grateful for them, but to cherish them. That's the best word to use. And if you're not in a place you want to be, then make that a goal. Make that a goal that you want to do, and start really. I think it's very important that you start with being grateful for what you have. You have a beating heart, and you have a precious tool, or precious tools in your mind and your body. So I hope this has helped, and I'll talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for tuning into the Not Your Average Lives podcast. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe on iTunes if you have an Apple device. You can find free resources and learn what else I have going on at the moment that might interest you on my website at notyouraveragegrandma.com. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook at notyouraveragegrandma. If you liked this episode, it would make my heart so happy if you could leave me a 5-star rating. You can also add a review to let me know what you like about this podcast, which will help spread the word about it to others who need a little midlife inspiration. As always, be you, listen to your inner voice, and focus on reigniting that lost spark so you can start living your own, not your average life.